everyone, this is Carrie from Your Level Best, and today it's after Thanksgiving, and I figured it would be a good time to do something with the leftover turkey. Now, I'm not just talking about the turkey meat, because I think if you look all over the internet, there's a lot of stuff to do with the turkey meat. But I'm also talking about the turkey frame. That's kind of a polite way of calling the turkey carcass. There's a lot of things you can do with it, and very healthy things you can do with it. I think it's one of those things that a lot of people don't think about doing because it was something our grandparents did. Maybe not something that you do now, but I think you're wasting a lot of potential if you get rid of those turkey bones. So if you made Thanksgiving dinner, or if you went to somebody's house who made Thanksgiving dinner, save the bones. So when you save the turkey frame, make sure that you don't clean it really well. It may sound a little weird, but if you're going to make a stew like I'm going to do today, you want plenty of the meat still sticking to the bones. So you don't have to clean it particularly well, and that's okay, because that way you'll get more meat along with the flavor from the bones. So today's recipe is something I made up because a lot of times when I make a turkey frame stew or soup or chili, it depends on what I have sitting around the house. And today I had, some stuff that I needed to use up and some stuff I wanted to add. So let me go over what I have in front of me, and then we'll get started on the stew. So what I have in front of me, a couple things. I have some cabbage, and I'm actually adding this because what I'm finding is if you want to add vitamin C to a recipe, but adding fruit or even green or red bell peppers doesn't work, you need something that's more vegetal, and even broccoli or some of the other vegetables don't work. Cabbage actually works really well. It gives you a good hit of potassium as well as vitamin C. It does a great job. So I've got a full head of cabbage here. I also have the turkey frame with some of the skin and meat left over from Thanksgiving dinner. I also have some water. So we're making a broth. So all you need is some plain water. I also have some cheesecloth, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that in just a minute. It's a great way of making sure that your turkey frame doesn't end up with the bones in your soup. I also have some white wine because I needed to use some up. I have some garlic and thyme, and I also have some carrots and onion. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way. So I'm going to move the turkey frame out of the way, and the cabbage, and of course the water and the wine. And I'm going to move over my pan that's been heating up here. And we're going to start by putting in the onions and the carrots and giving these a good saute. Now what I want to do here is I want these to get a little bit of color. Now these are going to take a couple of minutes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep sauteing this, and then I will show you the next step. So come back in a few minutes. Okay, everybody, and now I've got my onions and my carrots wilted down a bit here in the pan. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start making the broth. So I'm going to turn this up a little bit, and I'm going to throw in my water. And I'm going to throw in my wine. And my thyme. And my garlic. So I'm going to stir this up. There we go. And now let me show you a little trick. So now I've got the cheesecloth spread out in front of me. And what I'm going to do is actually take the turkey frame and put it in the cheesecloth. Now, not everybody does this. A lot of people, when they make the broth, they want to strain everything out. And that works. It works great. But I don't want to strain all the vegetables out of here. I want to actually have the vegetables stay whole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all this goodness into the cheesecloth here. And then I'm just going to make a little sack. And this sack will keep the little bones from showing up in the broth, because the last thing you want to have happen is you get those little bones from the turkey into the broth, and then somebody ends up eating that and possibly choking and hurting themselves. So definitely don't want to do that. So what I'm doing is using the cheesecloth to contain all the bones in the meat, and then later on what I'm going to do is actually take the meat off the bones and then put that, I may have to do some chopping, but put that back into the liquid and keep the bones out. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in, and if your water does not come up and actually contain the bones, you'll need to put more water in. It looks like I'm probably going to need to put more than 8 cups of water in to cover the bones here. So I'm going to go ahead and get some more water in here. I'm going to bring this up to a boil, and then I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to let this simmer for 1 hour. That should make the meat very tender, so it's much easier to clean off the bones. That's why I said don't clean up your don't clean up your turkey frame really well, because it's much easier to take the meat off the bones, and you'll have more meat to eat. You'll get more meat off the bones much easier after it's been boiling for an hour. But an hour should be enough to extract all the flavor and the gelatin out of those bones and get the meat nice and tender. So I'll see you back here in an hour. Okay, everybody, welcome back. So now I've got the broth here, and I also have the little nest of bones on my left here. And actually, you'll see what I'm going to do in a minute. And yes, I did spill a little bit on my nice sweater, so seems like if you're cooking, you're going to get a little messy. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open this up a little bit, and I'm using gloves just because it's a little hot. So now, what you're going to see is the bones have given up all of their, goodness, and now you see that the turkey is now coming off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep taking the rest of this turkey, and I'm also going to shred it and throw that into the soup right here, and I'll show you the next step in just a minute. Okay, everyone, now that I've shredded all of the turkey, I've got that in my pot, and I've also added a chicken breast just because it's I didn't have enough meat for the recipe, so I added a chicken breast, so I've got that in there. So now I'm going to add 2 more things. I'm going to add some lentils to add more body to the dish. And then I'm also going to add some cabbage. Now, again, this is for vitamin C. Let me get this out of the way. And I'm going to put this in the pot right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this another 30 minutes or so. That should give the chance for the lentils to become tender, and of course the chicken breast to be cooked. And what I'll do with the chicken breast is I'll shred it up so that it's easier to eat, and then I will show you what this looks like when it's completely finished. Okay, everyone, it's been a half an hour, and oh my gosh, I'll give you a close-up of what this looks like. It looks great. What I ended up doing is, once the chicken had poached, I shredded it up, so that gave me about 1.9 pounds of protein, but you can see the onions, the carrots, the lentils. There's a nice broth, and you can see some of the thyme in here. It looks great. And of course the cabbage. This particular stew looks great, and I can't wait to eat this. I can't wait to serve this to dinner, and This will make your family happy, and there's a lot less waste from after Thanksgiving. So you can take those bones, leave some meat on them, throw them in a pot, and actually make a great second dinner. And actually you've saved quite a lot of money, because really all you're putting in here are some legumes, some vegetables, and some water, and some seasoning. That's it. So I hope you give this a try, or even make one of your own. So this is just one way you can use a turkey frame. You can do many other things with this, so give it a try. I hope you give this a try. So please subscribe to our channel. Keep watching our videos. Come back. We'll have more recipes. We'll have more stuff for you to see, and I'll see you next time.